Good afternoon, and the warmest of welcomes indeed to today's iOB business webinar. It's a pleasure to have you on here. My name is Ben. I'm the resident business coach here at iOB Business. Now, if this is your first time joining us on one of these iOB business webinars, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I would love to run you through a little bit about how these webinars work right before we get kicked off. So today, we'll be covering three topics as we always do. And in between each of the three topics, you're more than welcome to ask any questions. And indeed, I'm going to give you a moment to jot down any notes that you might need to take as well. So if you would like to take any notes or fire away with any questions, you don't need to let me know about the notes part. But if you would like to fire away with any questions, you're more than welcome to do so in the gray Q&A box at the bottom of the screen there. You can go ahead and do that, and then I'll grab them in the Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. We always do that for a few minutes at the end. We always have a couple of questions to go through, and it's always a pleasure to answer them. Now, if you have been with us before on one of today's webinar, you are absolutely welcome back. Thank you very much. Great to see you again. Okay, perfect. So just getting set up, just approaching the 2 o'clock mark, giving everybody a chance to join us. Okay, now what I'll do is I will pop the presentation up on screen for us so that we have that ready. Now I will switch off my video camera, so you should be able to hear my voice and you should be able to see the presentation up on screen, but you shouldn't be able to see my face anymore. So if you could please do me a big favor and just let me know if you can hear my voice and if you can see the presentation up on screen. Just pop a 1 or a yes or a thumbs up in the chat box. That would be perfect and much appreciated. That'll let me know that we are ready to go. Just approaching the 2 o'clock mark now. Welcome to those of you that are joining us. Pleasure to see so many faces on here as always. So exciting to get kicked off for today. Perfect, looks like we're good to go. Okay, so just finally, right before we do get kicked off, any questions, any trouble, any problems, drop it in the chat box and we will do our best. If you're not having the best technical experience of today's webinar, hopefully nothing like that will happen. It very rarely does, but if it does, just let us know and we'll see what we can do to fix it for you. Okay, so today's conversation, 3 ways to safeguard your business against an unstable market. Okay, a wonderful topic of discussion, very, very powerful, especially with what's been happening to us in recent years. Something that's very, very important that we discuss. So your presenter today is myself. My name is Ben. I'm a business coach and I specialize in working with small businesses, just like many of you on here today, to help them achieve stability and growth. This is my passion. This is my love. You can probably hear how excited I am in my voice to get started, excuse me, with today's webinar. Okay, so that is me. That's who I am. Now, today, discussion points, 3 topics as always. Number 1, we're going to discuss consistent and solid offering, something that you must bring for yourself, for your business, for your market. Number 2, find the problem before it makes the news. Okay, this is an amazing, amazing skill that if you can refine, something that can be very, very powerful for you to use in your business. And number 3, maintain unbeatable rapport with your clients. Okay, the topic line is a statement enough in and of itself, but I want to show you how exactly we can do this as well. Okay, so beginning with topic number 1, consistent and solid offering. Okay, so first point we have up for you today, an offering that is always affordable for your target market. Okay, now I want you to really think about what this means, because affordability can adapt, it can change depending on A, who your target market is, and B, what's happening to them at any given point in time. Okay, so when we as a digital agency put together an offer for somebody, we've got to make sure that A, it's suitable for us, of course, that it meets our cash flow requirements, that it pulls in enough money for the business, and that we're capable of delivering it, but B, that it's suitable for whoever it might be offered to. Now, what's important to remember is that we can't really just introduce this staple, sort of unmovable offer that we expect everybody to love all of the time. People change, times change, businesses change, markets change, the economy changes, most importantly, okay? So an offer that was suitable affordability-wise 2 years ago might not be suitable now, and that could be either in your benefit or not so much in your benefit, and that just depends what it is that we're looking at, okay? So an offer that is always affordable for your target market could really be defined as something that is versatile, something that is adaptable to whatever that specific audience needs at any given time, okay? So to give you an example, we as a digital agency, let's say 5 years ago, okay, we were offering paid advertising Now, whatever the budget they wanted was fine. Paid advertising via search engines, via social media, whatever budget they wanted was fine. But our service fees were £500 flat, non-negotiable, didn't move. Okay, that's fine. If that worked for them, say bricks and mortar stores in our local town, that's what we charged. It brought them loads of extra custom. It introduced more foot traffic for them because people were beginning to know who they were. Okay, if that was what worked for them 5 years ago, now you fast forward to today, typically speaking, you'll hear most of the time with small local businesses that money's a little bit more tight. Okay, it's been a rocky few years. Things haven't been going so well. Okay, now two things that might need to happen here. Number one, they might be looking at potentially having to change their fees with you. And just because you change your fee doesn't mean that you have to keep the service the same. You could reduce your fee, reduce your service if that's what suits. Okay, now I've always got a saying that sits in, and I would rather keep a client at any given service fee within reason than lose that client completely. Okay, so if I can keep them, I can retain them, even if it's half of what I was getting paid by them before, and I'm delivering half the service, that's absolutely fine by me. Okay. And now the second thing that they might need is a completely different service if you offer it. Okay. Now the key thing here is that we don't want to just start offering random services that we're not skilled in. Of course, we want to make sure that we're competent, we're skilled, we're qualified, we can deliver it. And it's got to be more relevant for them. Okay. So let's say in this context, paid advertising isn't actually ideal for them right now because they're spending huge ad budgets and they're paying your service fees. You could offer them something like social media, blog posting, website management, something that would still bring them traffic, something that would still bring them, an audience to their store, but isn't costing them as much money. Okay. So you can either look at revising the price point, you can look at revising how much you deliver for them, you can look at offering them something completely different, so long as you're still skilled in that area. Okay. Now, here's a really big thing: an offering that consumes little time for you so that you can offer it in volume. Okay, now we're talking here about protecting yourself against an unstable market. Okay, we're talking about being a business that's able to roll with the punches, float over the waves. All right. Now, an offering that consumes little time for you is something that is absolutely paramount in any digital agency business. Okay, we do not want to be sucked into massively time consuming service offerings. Okay, why? Because that means that we cannot do it in bulk, we cannot do it in volume, at least not easily. Okay, if we have massive resources and massive teams and massive amounts of staff behind us, which most startups don't, then maybe we could do that. But for the time being, if we're an early or startup business or even an established business in the digital agency space, we do want to look at something that consumes little time for us so that we can offer it in volume. Okay, so this could be something like software. It could be something like website development. If we were nice and quick at them, we were good at maintaining them. Something that doesn't take too much time. Okay, now whatever too much time is really defined by how much of a fee you're getting and how much money you want. But let's just say, for example, it'd take me a day or less to build a very, very good, competent website. And I can sell that website for £800 or £1,000, let's say. That makes me happy. Okay, that's good. That's brilliant for me. Now, in an ideal world, I want to build up a monthly recurring revenue as well. So I'm going to say to that client, would you be interested in ongoing monthly maintenance of that website as well for very, very little work? Change a few pictures, make sure that the website's running smoothly, all that kind of stuff. But an offering that consumes little time for you is key here. So if you are skilled enough and competent enough to build a website that quickly, you can then begin to offer it in volume. You've got 5 working days in any normal working week. You can build 5 websites a week. That's £5,000 a week. Now, of course, this is extremely optimistic, but just to show you, this is really the idea of what I'm getting at here. Something that pays you large amounts, say website consultancy or digital marketing consultancy, where you get paid 30, 40, 50, £100 an hour to deliver that. Okay, again, it's a very, very, very good rate. So this consumes little time for you. What can you then do? You can begin offering it in volume. You can pick it up. Okay. And what you don't want to be doing is selling a website for £300 and taking a week to build it. Okay. That's going to massively hurt your cash flow. It's very unlikely you're going to make enough money to stay afloat. So safeguarding yourself against an unstable market is offering something that consumes little time that you can offer in volume. Okay. Now that could be anything. It could be paid ads, could be website development, could be website maintenance, could be SEO, could be blog writing, could be social media, whatever it is that you are skilled and competent, and more importantly, quick and efficient at, okay? So an offering that's near always essential. Luxury is the first thing to go in a tricky climate, okay? Now, this might seem like an obvious point. It's something we're going to talk about here. If we're talking about safeguarding ourselves against an unstable market, what is often the first thing to go for most, people, most local businesses, or, most day-to-day people who work 9-to-5 jobs? What's the stuff that we start getting rid of? Okay, so in a personal context, money gets a little bit tight, we probably stop going clothes shopping as much. We probably stop ordering takeaways. We probably stop going to the cinema. All of these things which we might consider luxury, okay, because we don't actually need them to survive. We don't actually see them as a fundamental part of life, okay? We don't need takeaway pizza. We don't need a trip to see the latest movie. It's fun if we've got the surplus money, but we don't actually need to be doing that, okay? So if you think about it in a personal context, luxury things are one of the first things that go when things get a little bit tight for us in a personal context. So in a business context, why would that be any different? Okay, if a business likes it but doesn't need it, there's a very good chance that it's going to go. Okay, so let's say that you're offering something like, say you only do graphic design for only one of their social media profiles. Okay, now if this is just to kind of, oh, we're giving them a new cover photo, once a week, or we're giving them a new cover photo once a month, or we're not really doing any essential work. We're not doing anything that they absolutely categorically need or see as something that improves their business, okay? It maybe just looks nice and it's cool, but it doesn't necessarily actually bring any direct income to the business, okay? Whereas advertising, website development, these are tools that are needed to bring cash flow into the business. So if you're running advertising for a business that is, bringing an ROI of 2.0, 3.0, okay, so that's essentially you spend £1, you get £2 back. You spend £1, you get £3 back. If you are doing this, you have absolutely categorical proof that I am bringing you 3 times as much with these adverts as you are paying for them, okay? Now, to me and to most business owners, this would be considered an essential service. They cannot get rid of it. Now, of course, in exchange for this, you're taking a fee that quite literally is paying for itself, all right? So you're doing the best thing here and you're sticking in the essential zone. And finally, an offering that is consistently proven to sell time and time again. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to create a new blueprint. Go and see where things are selling and what it is that is being sold and how often it's being sold. Okay, so I like to talk about market hotspots. There are certain things that sell time and time and time again. Okay, now you walk into a supermarket, people buy food. Why? Because people need food to survive. Okay, now it's not quite as dramatic as that in the business context, but what are the digital services that people absolutely need to survive? Do people need websites? Yes. Do people need social media? Arguably, yes, if they want a presence online. Do people need advertising? Yes. Okay, find an offering that is consistently proven to sell time and time again. Now, you don't have to have sold these offerings yourself. You could see somebody else doing it. You could see a competitor agency doing it. You could see people that purchasing these kinds of services. It's absolutely possible for you to develop a skill set in the same area with a little bit of time, effort, education, tutelage, whatever you need to do that. Go ahead and do it. Okay, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just have to go and look at something that is already working and take a slice of that for yourself. All right, so that brings us to the end of topic number 1. I'm going to give you a brief moment now. Please fire away with any questions, and please do indeed feel free to jot down any notes that you might have, and I will dive on to topic number 2 in just a moment. All right, welcome back, and moving on to topic number 2. Find the problem before it makes the news, okay? This is something that if you can craft, if you can become skilled in, will become unbelievably effective for you, okay? So here's something I want you to look at. If there's going to be a violent dip in the market, there will be signs of this before it becomes public information. Now, this is valuable for 2 reasons, and we're going to cover more of these as we go throughout the days. Topic number 2, the first reason it's valuable is because it allows you to start thinking, can I introduce more essential services? Can I make my service more essential? Can I start thinking about the fact and potentially preparing for the fact that any luxury service that I offer might be under scrutiny or be under threat soon, okay? That's the first reason it's beneficial. Second reason it's beneficial is because you can proactively help your customers. If you see any of them in a luxury market, you say, hey, look, I've had these ideas. I think we can use these to safeguard you because I think this is what's going to happen. Now, not only do you look extremely effective because you're reading so far into the future for them, you're also making sure that you're solidifying a long-term client relationship by saying, hey, look, I got your back. We can do this together. I'm somebody that you want on your team if the market does dip, okay? Now, good example of this, it's good to watch the news. It's good to be, in the know. You don't need to do it all the time religiously, but if you just check up on the news articles, see what's happening in the economy, see what's happening in certain markets, is there anything that could majorly affect anybody's cash flow or any cash flow for any major business at any given point in time? Okay. There are knock-on effects that take place for all of us. Case in point, in the UK, we've had massive spikes in energy costs. We've had massive spikes in petrol costs, and this is going to affect small business owners because they're going to be affected themselves firsthand. But in addition to that, their clients are also going to be, very likely going to be affected by this as well. So what does that mean? They've got less money. They've got less money to pay small businesses. All right. So if there's going to be a violent dip in the market, there'll be signs of it before it becomes public information. Okay. You'll be able to see certain things. You'll see petrol prices creeping up. Okay. Now, if you've been going down to your local petrol station, you've seen the price go, say, 139, 142, 145, 147. And then it gets announced in the news, oh, petrol prices have went sky high. Okay. Now, we don't always have to react when we see something like this, but training our brain to begin recognizing signs, oh, this is happening, and here is maybe why, okay? Now, they may be correlating information in the news. And I remember on a personal note, something specifically, it was the November before COVID was announced publicly, I heard dribs and drabs of it on the radio saying that there was this, there was this new kind of outbreak, and, it was some people from the UK, and they were coming back to the UK. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, that doesn't sound great. Lo and behold, come February, March, the following year, I think it was, we then got the announcement of COVID. And I think all of us know what that did to us. Okay. So we've got to look out for these little signs that something might be wrong. And then we need to be thinking, okay, well, how can we look at safeguarding ourselves? Because things might be about to get turbulent. So you can spot things like this by keeping an eye on digital marketing news, stock markets, and your own business and client performance. Okay. Now, an easy one, digital marketing newsletters. Okay. There are tons of articles, blogs, things that you can read online about digital marketing, see what's going on, see what's trending, see what new stuff has come through. Now, here's the wonderful thing. You don't have to do massively comprehensive research on your own all the time. Just listen to people that do. Okay. They will give you the nuggets. They will give you the hot tips that you need. So if there's any given amount of information that it'll take you hours and hours and hours to read up on, chances are somebody's already doing that, so they can deliver the information to people like you in a podcast, for example. Okay. Number two, stock market. If you're a keen follower of the stock market, you can recognize trends. You can see something that's going on. If there's a certain stock exchange that seems to be a bit rocky, a bit turbulent, or you're seeing something take a massive dip and you're not 100% sure why, again, look for the correlating information. There's almost always, not necessarily obvious, but fairly visible reason why that might be happening. And finally, a big indicator is in your own business. If you're starting to feel a bit of a pinch, you're starting to feel like clients are taking a bit longer to pay, you're noticing that maybe your ads for your clients aren't performing as well. Okay, it's not pulling in as many clients, as many leads. Why? Okay, we've always got to be asking why. If you want to stay ahead of the market, you want to stay ahead of the game, you've got to be asking yourself why. What is happening? Okay. Now, when you spot the problem, counteract it as best you can. Beat your client to the punch. Okay. We don't want our client coming to us saying, hey, have you heard about this? What are we going to do about it? And then you're caught sort of cold on your feet. You don't really know what to do, what to say, because you don't know this information. All right. We want to be informed before they are, so that we can proactively go to them and we can say, hey, look, this is what we found. This is what we're going to do. We don't want to go to them just with the problem. We want to introduce whatever the problem might be, followed up shortly by the solution. Okay. One of the most effective ways to run and manage your client base. And finally, your client will appreciate this and will be more likely to stick with you. Okay. They feel protected. They feel taken care of. They feel like they have an agency that is by their side and will take care of them. Okay. Most importantly, they have confidence in you as the agency owner and say, hey, look, I trust this person. I trust this person to take care of my business, take care of my advertising, take care of my marketing, whatever it is that you're doing for them at that point in time. They feel more powerful themselves as a business owner because they have you by their side. And that is something that we want to achieve for the business. Okay, so that brings us to the end of topic number 2. And I'll be back with you very, very shortly for topic number 3. All right, perfect. So moving on to topic number 3 now. Okay, thank you for the question. I'll grab that for you right at the end. Now, third and final thing that you can do, maintain, well, sorry, there's loads more stuff that you can do, but in this specific webinar, what we're talking about today, maintain unbeatable rapport with your clients, okay? So something that I very, very much agree with, something I very, very much feel quite strongly about on a personal level. I always want, personally, my clients to have the best experience with me, and I very much enjoy loyal client relationships, okay? Here's why. A loyal client rarely wants to leave even when times are tough, okay? Now, there are, in a personal context, I had clients that stayed with me through COVID, stayed with me through very, very rocky markets, okay? And I know of other businesses where they experience the same amount of joy, okay? Now, a loyal client rarely wants to leave even when times are tough because of everything that we spoke about in the previous topic. We spoke about the fact that if they can trust you, they'll have confidence in you. If they see that you're proactively working, you're doing things to get ahead of any potential problems so that they can continually roll over those waves, okay? They can continually roll with the punches, knowing that they have you by their side, taking care of business from your perspective, okay? A loyal client rarely wants to leave, okay? If they're leaving, it's probably because of some external factor, maybe one that they can't even always control. For example, their business really is going downhill, and it's not due to anything other than the fact that potentially some major changes happened in their market that you couldn't get ahead of, or that they couldn't get ahead of, okay? And they really do have to leave because their cash flow is going negative, for example. But even at that, if they start a new business, chances are they'll probably be back, okay? So a loyal client rarely wants to leave even when times are tough because you are doing everything that you can to overcome and win for them, and they love that. The more you speak to them, the more they feel supported, okay? Now, this doesn't always mean trying to intensively book in loads and loads of meetings every week with your client or every month, okay? For some clients, this can feel overbearing, over the top, not something everybody wants, and understandably so. Every client is usually busy. We're busy ourselves as business owners. We don't really want to be sitting down for loads and loads of meetings either. However, that doesn't mean that you can't maintain communication and contact. You can send them reports, you can send them emails, you can send them updates, you can ask them how they're getting on. Quick WhatsApp message, for example, okay? The more you speak to them, the more they feel supported. Even if it's just a quick WhatsApp in the morning, hey, how's things? Got this for you today. Have an awesome day. Bet. Okay, so simple, but so effective. It means that your clients feel taken care of, they feel supported, they feel happy. They don't feel like there's any big distance building between the two of you, because one of the biggest reasons, in my view, to when clients begin to leave, or they begin to feel like they want to leave, is because they feel like there's large distance being put in between themselves and their agency or their service provider, and they don't really feel particularly connected to you. And guess what? When somebody doesn't feel connected to you, it's much easier for them to just swing the hammer and say, no, that's it. I'm going to stop giving them money because I don't really see any benefit in working with them anymore. Okay, we have to give them benefit. We have to give them reasons to want to work with us. Now, establishing a strong professional relationship with some personal elements will help you greatly in understanding how their mind works, okay? Now, we do always want to be sure of the boundary and the line between friendship, professional relationship. They're two different things. We do want to keep them separate. However, it's absolutely fine to be friendly with your clients. You know, it's okay to have a little bit of small talk, a little bit of chat, a little bit of a, give gab, or whatever it is that you want to do, just to kind of make them feel comfortable, make them feel happy, make them feel like you care about them on a personal level as well. Hey, how was your weekend? Did you have a good time? How's the family? Okay, things like that. It's so simple, so easy, but they always appreciate when you ask. Okay, now what this will do is it'll help you greatly in understanding how their mind works, because they're more likely to open up to you about certain things. If they've got a personal pressure that they're feeling that could affect the business impact, if it's financial, if they're dealing with something particularly stressful, they're not going to be as available for meetings in professional context. These things are absolutely relevant and absolutely important to pay attention to. If they've told you they're dealing with something particularly stressful, we then don't hound them to have a meeting that week. Okay, but if we don't have that information, we don't know not to do that, and we potentially risk disrupting, even though, albeit not our fault because we didn't know. But the salient point here is that the more we know, the better we can work with our clients. Okay, we can understand how their mind works. We can understand what makes them happy. Rapport and results, two keywords here. If you take nothing else away from this webinar today, take these two home. Rapport and results. That's why digital agency clients stick around. Okay, they got great rapport. They love you. They love working with you. They think everything is brilliant. They think you're the most supportive, wonderful digital agency that can just supply for them time and time again. You get amazing results. That is the biggest thing. If they really, really like working with you and they get excellent results, they get 3-to-1 ROI. Fantastic, perfect. There could not possibly be a reason, unless something very, very volatile happened in their business, as to why they wouldn't continue working with you. If they enjoy their working relationship, they're making lots of money, or they're getting lots of new clients, or they're getting lots of traction, whatever their goal is, it makes them very, very difficult to want to leave. Okay, it makes it very, very difficult for them to want to leave. Sorry. All right. So that brings us to the end of topic number 3. Very, very shortly, we'll dive onto the recap, and then we will do the Q&A for you. Thank you for the question. I've got a couple now that I will answer for you at the end, and you've still got time to ask any more questions should you want to. So I'll be right back with you in just a moment. Okay, perfect. So taking us now on to the recap. Number 1, what do you need? You need a consistently solid offer, be versatile, make sure that you can adapt to whatever it is that your prospective or current clients need in any given market so that you can help them survive turbulence. Number 2, proactive problem solving. Get to the problem before it makes the news, before your client knows about it. The faster you are, the more informed you are, the better you look as a digital agency and as a professional. And number 3, unbeatable rapport. Okay, you are absolutely, undeniably the favorite person working with that given client at any given time. Okay, if you can achieve this and you can achieve fantastic results, you're onto a winner. You're onto a healthy, long-term working client relationship. Okay, so as always, a massive thank you for attending today. If you'd like to talk to a member of our team, you're more than welcome to head over to iob-business.com/talk-to-us. You can go ahead over there and book a call at a time that suits you. I'm going to leave this little calendar up on screen. That's what you'll see if you decide that you'd like to talk to us today. And whilst I'm leaving that up there, I'll go and grab the questions that I got from you lovely people. Okay, cool. So first question, how do I spot a turbulent market? That seems difficult. Amazing. Love that. Okay, so answer. Think outside the box. You see the price of raw materials going up in B&Q, for example. That's something that happened in the construction industry not too long ago. Okay, now let's say that you run paid ads for a client who sells decking. Okay, obviously they're going to need wood. They're going to need that raw material that's shot up in price. Speak to them about whether this affects them and what you can do to help them marketing wise. Okay, could you help them start running a different type of advert? Could you help them advertise another one of their services that they offer? Okay, think outside the box. You have a client that offers decking to their clients. Price of woods just went through the roof. How's that going to affect them? Okay, it's a real world, real people, real business. If you start to think this way, you'll begin to understand it on a different level. Amazing question. Thank you so much. I hope that helps. How do I create an offer? Next question, sorry. How do I create an offer that consistently sells? So what I would suggest doing here, if you want to create an offer that really sells consistently, sell necessity combined with desire. Okay. Now, necessity is something that we need. It's something that we would struggle to live day to day without in a hypothetical context. Okay. I couldn't live without my couch, say. That's just a hypothetical example. Okay. Now, we believe that we have a necessity here for something. Now, my desire is to have a comfortable couch. Okay. So what we've got to do is looking at something that combines necessity with desire. What does somebody need that they also want? Okay. Yes, I need a sofa in my house. Okay. But I don't necessarily need a very, very expensive, comfy one, but that's what I want. So what you're doing there is you're combining necessity and desire put together. So if you apply that in a digital marketing context, the necessity is they need more clients. Okay. The desire is to have 10, 20, 30, 40 clients a month, or whatever that goal is. So find a way to help them meet their desire whilst delivering the necessity. They might believe that they only really need 3 clients a week or 3 clients a month, but would it be desirable for them to have 10 or 20 or 30? Okay. Brings excitement. It brings enjoyability more into the business because they're thinking, wow, look at all this income I could have, and then look at all the things that I could do with the business. Another great question. Thanks so much for asking. Okay, cool. So I just had a little look. Looks like that's all the questions we have for today. So as always, a massive thank you for taking the time to join us. It's been a real pleasure having you on here today. And it has been a real pleasure for me to present this webinar to you. Okay. So I very much look forward to seeing you again on the next iOB business webinar a couple of weeks from now. Take care, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.